こんばんは。はいはい。Yeah, it's just a fucking nutcracker. Like, that's 133 years old. Like, it should be uh uh what's the word? Public domain by now. Yeah, true. Yeah. Yeah, YouTube's copyright like copyright ID system is just fucked where it's like it's not the same recording. It will just like have like the closest match and it's like, oh yeah, like this one sounds like this one, so therefore they're the same, when no the fuck they're not. And that's how you get like copyright claims from like fucking Family Jewels or whatever, even though like he, he is not claiming it on his own behalf, but like YouTube is claiming it on his behalf for whatever reason. Yeah, to be fair, he's only 13, but yeah, yeah, get better, Jade. Hmm? Uh, oh, yeah. Oh. Oh god. Vaguely. I have heard of him. No. Yeah, you just repeated yourself. I just said I have not seen him. It feels so fucking dystopian. I mean, like it's like on its face, it's like very like normal, but like when you like look at it like that, it's like yeah, that's like fuck. Yeah. Yeah, that's sealed off. Yeah, I mean, that's not even like the worst thing that she's done today. Remember she climbed the fucking side of the roof. Wait, what is? I think so. What the fuck? That's... What the fuck, man? That's so fucking stupid. No, not that I know of. Red flag warning. This entire fucking house. I can think of one person that might. Yes. That's cute. Fuck, that makes it so sad. It's so fucking sad. Bro.
My mom moved up to the loft after her brothers died.
To fucking...
At the time, it was as far away as she could get.
You don't.
She spent a summer building houses in Calcutta, where she met my dad, Sanjay.
It's like a time capsule. Like, all of these are like time capsules. Okay. Yeah, I was not planning on going to India anyways.
Religion was another thing my mom never talked about, but I think it helped her a lot after her dad died.
Yeah. It's our moment. You know, together we're glowing. Gonna be golden. Anyway. Yeah. True.
My mom moved to India a week after graduation and got a job teaching English. Lewis was born a year later. When my dad died, I don't think Mom knew where else to go. I'm sure Edie was happy to have her back.
Yeah, I forgot that. Oh. Basil! Oh, they had their. I forgot that they all had their little garden. It's so cute.
And to see kids in the house again.
Building a castle.
The house had to get a little bigger, but Edie was used to that.
Yeah, rather than clearing out the houses of the rooms of the dead children, she just like builds more. Yeah, Sven is dead. Who the fuck built this?
And for a while, things were good. Almost normal.
Oh. Wait, who was doing that? I don't remember anybody being a game designer. Yeah, I can probably imagine who would play D&D. I'm guessing that would be Lewis. Damn. That's awesome, actually. Mhm. Yeah. This is so fucking cute. This is so nostalgic. Like, this reminds me of my like elementary school classroom.
But it didn't last.
The normalcy. Oh. Yeah, she was an author. Cute. Hmm? Oh, that's Milton though. That's not Lewis. If it was Lewis, that would be fucked up. Yeah. Yeah, the looks AI generated, but this is long before AI. Lived together in harmony, and everything changed when the Fire Nation attacked. I did not. Only the Avatar, master of all four elements. Yeah, she was not.
The beginning of the end was Milton's 10th birthday, when Edie gave him a castle.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but Milton's is very, very ambiguous, like I said.
After Milton disappeared, the only thing he left behind was a room full of paintings. I think Edie was happy to finally have another painter in the family.
Yes.
Milton Finch in The Magic Paintbrush.
Yes. Yeah, that's why I said it's ambiguous. Like, there's not even any words other than achu.
I was 4 when Milton disappeared.
Like, it's worth noting that he disappeared rather than died, but I don't think that it happened the way that it happened in the flip book. I think that he probably just, like, got lost somewhere. Yeah, my theory is, like, he got lost in, like, the forest or something, due to, like, starvation or hypothermia. His body was never found because it was in the middle of the fucking woods. And then, like...
Mom spent months searching for my brother. Then she sealed the doors.
I also think that he might have had, like, something like schizophrenia or, like, maybe he was undergoing psychosis, something along those lines that like caused him to see hallucinations of like his paintings coming to life or something like that. That's my theory. It's left ambiguous, but I think that's a better explanation than just taking it at face value and being like, oh, there is a supernatural element after all, because that kind of like undercuts everything else in the game. Like
Whatever Milton had
the
found in
whole
the
point is that
house,
it is not
Mom didn't
supernatural.
want it getting out.
I mean, if he was in the house, they would have found him. I know. He found something that like caused him to like maybe snap and like undergo psychosis. That's my theory. Yeah. 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 Haunted by the ghosts of the dead children. Yes.
Mom definitely blamed Edie, but I think Lewis blamed himself. After he graduated, he just spent more and more time in his room. Until Mom got him a job at the cannery. Everyone always told me to stay out of Lewis's room. Except Lewis.
Yeah, he's a stoner. That's a fucking bong. Who's your friend who likes to play bing bong, bing bong?
Lewis's room smelled very, very familiar. That part of him lived on.
Yup. Oh my god. Are you ready for... Oh yeah, there's a video game. Yeah, I guess let's interact with the game console.
Lewis and I spent a lot of time playing games together, but he was surprisingly bad at them. He died a lot.
Just like in real life. He seems cool at least, but yeah. Oh boy, here we go. Here we fucking go. I'm like bracing myself. I know what happens, and it's like one of the coolest sequences in the game, but... It was at the beginning, and now it's the Red King. I mean, either way, he's a king, and it's a dream. But you will see what all the foreshadowing was for. Yes. I don't think so.
Dear Mrs. Finch, as Lewis's psychiatrist, I can understand your desire for an explanation. As I see it, the trouble began in January, shortly after we convinced your son to seek treatment for substance abuse. Newly sober, I believe Lewis first noticed the monotony of his daily life. He kept working at the cannery. but he withdrew part of himself. In our sessions, I saw the same behavior. His mind began to wander. I asked him to describe it. He said he started small. Imagining a labyrinth.
Yeah.
He'd feel his way about.
That's the point. Keep going. VTubers. True.
Then something moved. Bats. And toads. And things that have not names.
Yeah, the players.
He knew it was all in his head. But he took it very seriously. I had hoped he'd find himself.
Hello. Yoroshiku.
But he found something more. I worried about him then,
It will get harder and harder from here to
daydreaming at the cannery. I spoke with his boss. But he said Lewis had become a model employee. Methodical, tireless, focused. Like a whole new Lewis. So I let him go on. I even encouraged him. It seemed very promising at first.
Don't fucking encourage him.
He told me he'd made a new friend. On the edge of a city he named Lewis Hope. He built the city up slowly, brick by brick. Then he made musicians. And and songs for them to play. He talked about starting a band. And he was always humming something. Every day his imagination grew stronger.
Yeah, that's the boy.
He no longer spoke at the cannery. But his chopping was as reliable as ever. Then one day it struck him that all the cheering crowds, even the stones under his feet, were all in his imagination, so he could do whatever he wished. He held an election for mayor. And he won. They begged him to stay, but his mind was already wandering. It became a game for him.
Yup.
He'd conquer a city, then immediately push on. New Louisville. St. Louis. He started drifting away from our reality. Minneapolis. Until one day he forgot to go home from the cannery. Even as his mother pleaded with him, part of Louis kept sailing on. In Louisburg, he heard rumors of a handsome queen.
Either way, you would be into that.
The queen was on her own quest for radiant rainbows. He followed the sound of her electric sitar. His chase led him to a golden palace east of the sun and west of the moon. Even then, his logic remained sound. He knew the world was all in his imagination. But he was so proud of having created it. In his own eyes, he'd become something greater than a king. For someone who'd never known success in the real world, I think it was overwhelming. And then it struck him that the real Lewis was not the one chopping salmon, but the one climbing the steps of a golden palace.
Just about some moving was
My imagination is as real as my body, he told me. It was hard to argue with him.
I'm preg.
He began to forget the world we know.
Legalize nuclear bombs.
I think it pained him to remember Lewis, the cannery worker.
You're Lewis, the cannery worker. You're in the cannery. Oh wait, you're another employee, I think. Fuck.
He began to despise the man with a royal contempt.
It's become muscle memory. He's not even holding the fucking fish anymore. Oh shit. I don't know what to learn.
I still thought I could save him.
Fucking on.
Even after he said he was being crowned king over all the lands of wonder. The palace would be packed with his companions. Including the wise Calico who'd insisted on inviting him.
The joyous feeling as he's about to
His queen waited, holding his crown. There was only one thing left to do.
Yes. Now you understand why it's not called the Professor, and he has a crown on his phone. thought that he was going to chop his hand off, but like, this is so much worse. Because he has Melanoid daydreaming this morning.
Bend down his head. And the rest I think you know. Mrs. Finch, your son was a kind man who will be missed by all of us who knew him.
My brother was really cool. I wish you could have met him.
I don't know. Okay. Yeah, don't do that.
On the way back from Lewis's funeral, my mom told me to start packing. She waited until the day before we left to tell Edie.
No, she died.
I'm not sure if she wanted to make it easier or harder. I wish we'd stayed. But I understand why we left.
Yes. Generational wealth, and probably also Edith selling fucking stories to the press about their family. Yes.
My mom ended up leaving everything behind. What happened that night had been coming for a long time. Maybe it should have come sooner.
They should have left sooner. This is Edith.
But it had to end one way or another.
Yeah,
All that's left now is to tell you about that last night.
Yeah. What a beautiful. No. No, not yet. She's writing the journal.
That whole last day, Edie just watched us pack and didn't say a word. Until supper, when she raised her glass and said,
"To our final night together, and all our final nights apart."
Grandma, you know what I said about alcohol. Some of your medications are very
Edith,
specific.
I left a present for you in the hallway. Why don't you go open it? The grown-ups have to argue now.
I'm sorry, you're right. We're all leaving tomorrow. Let's just enjoy our last...
I'm not leaving.
Edith, you're excused.
the power had been shut off that morning, but Edie always had plenty of candles.
I just said find the present. That's what you're supposed to do.
When my mom sealed the library, I don't think she knew about the other entrance.
She knew while she sat there from her entrance.
Or that Edie had a key to it.
Yeah. That's putting it
The
like...
thing you're afraid of isn't going to end when you leave the house. Edith has a right to know these stories.
My children are dead because of your stories. I think it's best if Edith and I leave tonight. We'll have the nursing home send a van for you in the morning, okay?
Dear Edith,
Sorry, I'll put them down.
there's so many stories I wish I could tell you, but there's only time for one. This is about what happened on the night you were born. That night, the tide went way, way out. It was the first and last time I ever saw the old house aground. There'd been an earthquake out in the middle of the ocean. They called it the lowest tide in 1,000 years. God, it smelled awful. You know, I've seen that house every day of my life. But I never thought I'd go back to it. When the fog rolled in, I lost my way. I got turned around.
What do you mean? Rumors? That was the train.
For a while, I wondered. I started seeing things.
This is the path as...
Things I'd forgotten had ever existed.
This reminds me of the path. played that
when
one.
I saw them, they felt like old friends. That night, a lot of things came back to me. Or maybe I came back to...
I don't know. Yeah.
Things I can't explain, but that I need you to try and...
Edith, what are you doing in here?
It's mine.
Edith!
Mom, you're gonna rip it! Let go! I kicked and screamed, but Mom dragged me to the car. I never saw Great-Grandma Edie again. The next morning, the van came to pick her up, but she was already gone. After that, we moved around a lot. We both tried to make the best of it. A few years went by. My mom didn't like to talk about it. But she started getting sick a lot. The rest happened pretty quickly. She got better for a while, and then she didn't. And then I was alone. The last Finch left alive. Until I found out about you. I'm still not sure what to tell you about all this. If we lived forever, maybe we'd have time to understand things. But as it is, I think the best we can do is try to open our eyes. And appreciate how strange and brief all of this is. This journal was supposed to be for you. But now I hope you'll never see it. I just want to meet you. And tell you all these stories myself. But I guess if you're reading this now,
Yeah.
things didn't work out that way.
Yes.
This is where your story begins. I'm sorry I won't be there to see it. It's a
that's
lot to
understandable.
ask, but I don't want you to be sad that I'm gone. I want you to be amazed that any of us ever had a chance to be here at all. Good luck.
That was her death. She died in childbirth. I don't know. She was in the hospital. No, she wasn't. Yeah, she was in the hospital. No, they left the house. They never went back to the house. And then like okay, no, like she went back to the house. She wrote the journal. And then after she left the house, like the journal, she wrote it for her son all on one night, right? And then she left the house. And then later on the son was born and she was like, I hope I don't have to show you this journal because I want to tell you these stories in person, but in case I die in childbirth, this is the account that I'm leaving for you. Yeah. Yeah. Don't doctor yourself, please. Oh. Oh yeah, I forgot about two brothers. True. Yeah, I told you. Yeah, play this fucking game. It's insanely good. It's beautiful and tragic and haunting and sad and oh my god. Like when I first like watched a full playthrough of this game, I was just like floored. No, don't get a fucking refund. These devs deserve your money because they worked very, very hard on this. Oh yeah, right, I forgot. I forgot about Annapurna. Yeah. Okay, time to get a refund. Yeah. I think there's like a time limit on the amount of time that you can wait to get a refund though. Trick or treat, smell my feet, give me something good to eat. You didn't grow up with that? Oh. Yeah, the replay story is now available. Yeah, don't be sad. Yeah. Yeah. Come to my debut October 30th. Hi, hi. That's the point. Like, it was cut short because Edith was not able to read the full story because it was like literally physically ripped away from her. But if you take like everything after Lewis's death as like the epilogue, then it kind of makes sense. It feels more satisfying. Hmm? No, like Dawn and Edie's like Dawn and Edie were the last two to be drawn because like their story was told at the same time. Like they left the house, Edie killed herself with alcohol and medication. Dawn got sick and then the son was born. And Edith died in childbirth. We never find out. I'm having a baby and the baby is you. Yeah, you play as the baby. Yeah, and also I would cry. Yeah, you don't have to replay any of them right now. I don't know, like what? Okay. What theory do you want to craft? Yeah. I mean, Barbara, it's pretty clear that Rick killed her. Yeah, I mean, we cannot trust Edie, but like we can't like that's the point. Like Edie doesn't believe that Rick killed Barbara, but the police fucking do. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, is there? I did not see that. I know that there are like totems inside of the basement of the comic book of Molly and I think Calvin. I'm pretty sure. But yes. Yeah. Yeah. I think that Barbara is pretty cut and dry. She just was killed by Rick, but Edie decided to sensationalize the story by like, oh, she was killed by a bunch of monsters. Blah, 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 blah. Like, they cut off her ear. All this when in actuality, that she was probably just killed by Rick, and then like it might have been like an accidental death. Like he was trying to scare her, like or something, and it just like went too far. And then Walter witnessed the whole thing, was traumatized, and decided to live in the bunker for the rest of his fucking life. Yeah, it could be, or like maybe he probably does know, and he just because like it did say that like he witnessed everything. He probably does know, and just was like so traumatized that he didn't want to talk about it, or like maybe he like repressed it. True, you cannot really trust the comic book, so maybe he did not witness it. But it just seemed like a weird detail to include if he did not, and also why else would he be living in the bunker if not for witnessing something so traumatic that he feels like he needs to hide. So I do believe that Walter witnessed Barbara's death and he just doesn't want to talk about it. Yeah. Yeah, he was 11 when he went missing. I still like do believe that he got lost. I know that the comic book itself, or like the flip book itself, not comic book, the flip book itself is a reference to another game by the same company. And it's supposed to be like a tie-in, but at the same time, I do not believe that it's like there's an actual supernatural element or that it should be taken at face value. I think he just was like he found something that was traumatic. He underwent psychosis. He left his paintings everywhere. He ran off. He got lost in the woods and he died. That's my theory. Yeah, I don't think I don't think he actually got isekai. I think he just was seeing things. He got reincarnated as a slime. Yeah, no, that one's the most difficult to play through, but it's also like by far like probably the most interesting part of the game to me, at least. Like it's so well executed. I love how there's like so much like subversion of expectations in this game. Like with Molly, you see her like leaning out of the window and you think like, oh, she's going to fall out of the window, but then how would she have written this journal entry that we're reading right now? And then she becomes a fucking cat. And it's like, oh, this is a hallucination. Oh, okay. And then for Lewis, it's like, oh, you think he's going to chop off his hands. And instead he fucking decapitates himself. He was so caught up in his own daydream that he like did not perceive the world around him. I think that's more of an artistic liberty. I think that's like so we know what's going on. But I don't think that he saw it in his dream. Also, he's bisexual. He's canonically bisexual because you can choose like the princess or the prince. Yeah, you can choose either one for him and they will show up at the end and crown him. He's canonically bisexual. Yeah, he's a stoner, he's bisexual, he plays video games, he wants to design video games, he plays D&D. He's actually pretty fucking cool. Like out of all the characters, he might be my favorite. No, because we already played them within the past, like, day. Like, we literally played all of these, like, either yesterday or today. So we don't really need to replay them. I don't know about... Like, I don't know what achievements there are. Yeah, That's kind of impressive because I think that most people like they take more than that. True, yeah, the seal. That was sad because I love seals. They're so cute. But but seal. God damn it. No. I want to play the game myself because I bought it. Okay. I don't think it does. What? Yes. Oh yeah, Terraria. Yeah, you have so many games that you have not finished playing. Yeah, share it to me on Discord. Mm. Oh, yeah. Honestly, I don't give a shit. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that is weird. Yeah. Yeah. I get it. Yeah. Sumeru? I don't know. They were like, oh, let's combine like Arabic culture, but also like Egyptian culture and Persian and like fu- fucking all this other shit, and it's like it just kind of clashes and just makes it obvious that their only exposure to these cultures is like fucking like this Aladdin. Yeah, true, true. Yeah, I mean, like, there are ways to, like, actually, like, mix cultures together in a way that is respectful. Like, just look at fucking Avatar. Like, they not, like, you can see, like, the clear, like, cultural, and, like, oh, like, the Fire Nation is largely based on, like, Imperial Japan, or, like, the Earth Kingdom is based on, like, China. The air nomads are like on like Tibetan monks, and the water tribes are like what's it called? Yeah, Inuit. But like they also like do mix some like influences from like other cultures as well into those, but like in a way that is respectful, and that you can like kind of like actually buy as like, and they don't like conflate like the cultures together, and just like I don't know how to describe. I'm not very good with words, but yeah. So there are ways to do it that is respectful, but like the way that Genshin does it is just not. Yeah, the unfinished swan. Yeah, that sounds familiar. Okay, I'll share it to me on Discord. Okay. I'm not precious, I'm scary. Scary ghost. Mm, okay. Please don't.
If you're reading this,
Matthias,
then
Matthias, please, please spare us. Let me view the stream. Oh, there we go. Okay.
if you're reading this, then unfortunately what I predicted came to pass. I was onto something. I was sure of it. But I also knew that uncovering secrets like this could very well lead to my demise. If I could just peek around the right corner, if I could just open the right box or turn the right knob, the truth would be made clear. Why? Why was this cold open in the style of FNAF when I was doing an episode about Edith Finch? I guess that would remain forever a mystery.
That's pretty funny. Thank you, Matthias. Yeah, the editing is so good. because
Internet. Welcome to Game
No.
Theory, the show
Oh,
that
there we go.
exists to document my life instead of journaling like a normal person. Today we're finally covering a game that the theorist community's been asking me to cover for the past 5 years. What Remains of Edith Finch? That was a long time to request a game, and so I decided to reward your patience with a blind playthrough over on GT Live. A very long, very thorough playthrough of the game.
This feels like I'm progressing the story forward, but I don't want to progress the story forward. I want
Yeah,
to
that's
check out that other
literally
route.
you.
He wants to be spicy.
I'm not being spicy, I just want to make sure that I'm not missing anything, you know? Sadly, my walking speed is that of a snail.
But hey, we made it all the way through.
Can I just say, you don't want shag carpet in your bathroom.
It's a dangerous game.
High risk, certainly. For what reward? That's inviting bold. If all the people in this house didn't die via tragic circumstances, they would have been dying from like black fungus growing in their walls.
Yeah, there was a lot of commentary on proper building codes along the way.
I was afraid of the house.
I'm afraid of it collapsing under the weight of its own poor structure.
And I gotta be honest, now that I know what this game is truly about, I am shocked that we didn't cover this thing sooner. I mean, it's right on brand for us. Fantastical stories, a family curse, dead kids, and not just one, but several dead kids. I mean, that's like the golden buzzer of getting fast-tracked to a theory. Then again, what do you say about a game that people have been combing over for the past half-decade? A game that's been analyzed up, down, and sideways and is practically memorized by its hardest core fans. Well, what if I tell you that great-grandma Edie is a serial murderer? That this supposed family curse that took the lives of at least 10 people was actually Edie the entire time? A serial killer bumping off members of the family one by one. Seems crazy, right? Well, sometimes crazy ideas lead to the best theories. And
What the fuck? What the fuck am I looking at?
I think today's can answer
Yeah, I've seen that. I'm just like, what the fuck is the thumbnail?
some weird logical inconsistencies that are found inside of the story. So come with me, friends, as we scale the not-so-structurally sound tower of lies that's hidden inside this not-so-structurally sound house. Seriously, this thing is like a late-game Jenga tower. And we're about to pull the piece that makes it all come crumbling down. Hey, I'm mixing metaphors at this point, right? Like, at one point, we're climbing up this wobbly tower, but now I'm pulling the tower down. Just saying, I'm very confused about what I'm doing with this tower of lies right now. Just saying. Also, before we start, I'm just gonna say that there are a lot of names and details in the story. I'm gonna do my best to keep it as streamlined as possible, but, you know, might help to have a set of flashcards ready to remind yourself the difference between a Gregory Finch and a Gus Finch. Anyway, this game is narrated to us by Edith Finch, a young 17-year-old mother-to-be who heads back to her abandoned childhood home before the birth of her son to try and learn the truth of her family's backstory. The big
Yeah, we
twist at
never
the end,
learned.
spoiler alert, is that Edith has already died in childbirth, and that the whole game was her son Christopher reading the journal that she left behind for him. So already, off the bat, we're dealing with a story.
Wait, wasn't Christopher the name of Molly's goldfish? So they named the cat after Molly, and then they named the human after Molly's goldfish. that's it comes full circle. Yeah.
About stories, about legends that are handed down from generation to generation. We also have a story about unreliable narrators, people telling their versions of events. Keep that one in mind. It's gonna be super important. So what's the big family secret that got a pregnant woman to scurry across the
What? Yeah, she's a pregnant high school girl.
roof of her old abandoned house. Well, her family is supposedly cursed. People in the family keep dropping dead due to tragic or unusual circumstances. A man is hit by a train after years of staying in a bunker. A child star is killed off by quote-unquote monsters. A young boy launches himself off a cliff while riding a swing, and a small girl dies of poisoning from eating toothpaste and berries. The list goes on and on. As we explore the house room by room, we get flashbacks to relive these fantastical tales of death one by one. Someone is yeeted off a cliff by a deer, while another is crushed by a giant dragon slide. A baby drowns in a bathtub, while another child is killed in a storm. But notice the word that I used here: tales of death. Stories. These aren't necessarily the real events that resulted in family members' deaths. These all have some mixed element of truth and the real events that resulted in family members' deaths. These all have some mixed
Oh, that's the same?
element of
What do you mean? That's the same. Yeah. Oh, I thought she was wearing the same thing. Oh, okay. Interesting. Crop top.
of truth and fiction. It's actually something that Edith herself begins to realize halfway through her journey.
I thought it was time I heard the stories for myself and found out what happened to everyone else. But now I'm worried the stories themselves might be the problem. Maybe we believed so much in a family curse, we made it real.
And who was controlling those stories? Great-Grandma Edie.
Dear Edith, there's so many stories I wish I could tell you, but there's only time for one.
Edie, who I suspect was responsible for many, if not all of these deaths, and was then using a fabricated family curse to cover up the murders.
Edith has a right to know these stories. My children are dead because of your stories.
That's a mighty big claim, so let's just take a second to look at
No, it's neglect. Yeah, she's a killer, but like I don't think it's like intentional, but she just like refuses to take accountability. Yeah, child slaughter. God damn it.
grandma, shall we? The thing that first got me suspicious of her was her age. And no, that's not me being ageist, that's me noticing a very clear pattern here. In a family that's supposedly cursed, a family where the average age of death clocks in at 19 years old, where the oldest anyone has gotten is Edie's father Odin at 57, here's great-grandma Edie over here clocking it in at a ripe old 93. 93! Nearly double anyone else in the family. The only other person who lives even remotely that long in this family, Walter, who made it to his 50s, literally locked himself in a bunker for decades. Oh.
Yes, he did. No, he decided to lock himself in the bunker because he was afraid. He was so like traumatized and afraid of the outside world and of his family and of like what occurred to Barbara that he witnessed that he's like he doesn't want to come out. And instead of getting him therapy, they just let him live down there.
Oh, don't worry, we're gonna have a lot to say about
Hi, Escort. Hi. Yeah, we finished playing the game, but we are just like watching this to see how well it holds up, knowing what we know now about the game.
Walter here soon. Edie has gotten to live long enough to see her great-grandchildren, while all the others didn't even get to see their own kids grow up. So why? Why did the family curse take so long to take Edie's life compared to everyone else? It struck me as suspicious. Even more suspicious, though, is that she keeps pictures of loved ones dying next to her bed. And let me be clear, I'm not saying pictures of dead loved ones, though that is more than true. I mean pictures of them in the process of dying. On a shrine opposite her bed, we see a photo of her husband, Sven, falling off the top of a dragon slide that he was in the process.
Oh, you didn't? I did.
A building. This would be the event that would cause his death. Was the camera on a timer? Who took this thing, Edie? Regardless, if her having that
Yeah. Like,
picture next to her while she sleeps isn't evidence that Edie is totally disconnected from her emotions, I don't know what is. And mind you, she has plenty of other pictures of him being safe and happy, so it's not like this was the only one that she had to remember him by. It is weird, it is uncomfortable, and it starts to show that great-grandma Edie may have herself some very strange views on death. We see early on in the game that Edie has a shrine dedicated to her dead father, Odin. As part of that shrine, she has on display 2 of his books, Mysteries of Death and Thereafter, and Joining the Great Majority. We never get context as to what either of these 2 books may be about, but with a title like Mysteries of Death and Thereafter, you can kinda guess. It shows that, to this early generation of Finches, there was something that persisted after death. Mysteries that continue on. Joining the Great Majority as a title is even more vague, but the game designers clearly put it here as part of the shrine for a reason, so why? Well, I had a sense that it had to do with death as well, and while it did take some digging, my hunch was right. The expression was first used by Edward Young, an English poet who did a lot of philosophical writings on the nature of death. The full quote goes as follows: "Life is the desert, life the solitude. Death joins us to the great majority." Here's the spark notes on that one for your next English paper. Everyone dies, join the club. So Edie's father, Odin, was the guy who literally wrote the book on death. 2 books, in fact. And we see this obsession with death continue into Edie's story.
Sven built the house, but it was Edie who designed the cemetery. What kind of family finishes building a cemetery before starting the house?
She even finds death funny, including the tragic, premature death of her own husband.
When Edie told people Sven was killed by a dragon, she could also have said he was building a dragon-shaped slide that collapsed. She could have, but she didn't. I asked Edie once about the dragon in the pond. She said it had killed her husband. I was 6. It seemed like an odd joke to me, even then.
That right there just gives us more evidence that Edie and the truth don't always go hand in hand. But just because Edie's obsessed with death and happens to be a bit of a storyteller doesn't make her a killer, right? Well, no, not on its own. But take all those details and look a bit closer at some of the death stories that were told throughout the game, and suddenly Gran starts to look a whole lot more sinister. One of the most memorable sequences that we play through in the game is the death of Barbara. This one is told to us in the form of a pulpy Tales from the Crypt style horror comic. Basically, Barbara was a child star whose best years were behind her. One night, while her boyfriend's trying to teach her how to get her iconic scream back, she's attacked by a murderous hookman. We're shown that, under the bed, her younger brother Walter is hiding out of fear, but he witnesses the whole thing. She fends off the attacker using a crutch, knocking him over the balcony. When she goes down to check on him, in true horror story fashion, the hookman's body has disappeared. Suddenly, there's a knock at the door. Barbara opens it, sending in dozens of monsters who've come for a party. They wind up eating Barbara alive and only leaving her ear behind. And that is all we're told about Barbara's death. It's a weird story, right? And obviously it's heavily fictionalized, and yet we know elements of it to be true. We see the balcony of the Edith home still broken where the
Yeah, that's where the struggle took place, but like that had to have been Rick, right? Like I still think that Rick killed her.
hookman, or whatever he was, fell. We also know that her younger brother Walter did in fact see something that sent him running to the basement in fear, living in a bunker under the house for decades in fear of what lay on the other side. He even keeps Barbara's crutch down there with him, above the fake window that he created.
Oh. So Rick so that's proof that Rick was there.
For himself, either as a memory of his deceased sister or as a means of protection.
Yeah.
More likely a combination of both. The truth about Barbara's death is, to this day, one of the most persistent mysteries of the game. One that people have theorized about for years, guessing everything from her boyfriend being the killer to the house literally consuming her alive. One theory I haven't really seen, though, is that it was Edie. Great-grandma Edie did it. Intentionally or not, she caused Barbara's death. Let's look at the facts, shall we? As I mentioned before, Walter sees something the night of Barbara's death. Something that causes him to lock himself in an underground bunker for decades out of fear. When he's down in the bunker, he gives us this line.
If you wait long enough, you get used to anything. Even a monster on the other side of the door starts to feel normal.
He could be.
He wasn't
I thought, like, he was just talking about the rumbling sound from the train.
hiding from death or a curse. He was afraid of a monster on the other side of the door. He's so scared of this monster on the other side of the door that when he does eventually decide to leave his bunker, he digs a hole out the other side rather than going through the door and back into the house. And think back, who killed Barbara in her story? Monsters. We see that word being repeated, connecting these two stories, these two deaths together. So what sort of monster could be on the other side of Walter's door? Edie.
I saw Edie sneak down to the basement once, carrying packages. I thought maybe she was hiding presents. It turned out she was hiding a lot more than that.
Edie is the monster. Whatever she's doing as a mother, her kids are scared of her. Whatever she did to Barbara, it scared Walter so much that he'd rather live in a basement and choose to knock a hole through solid rock using a sledgehammer than face her again. My guess is that Edie and Barbara got into a fight about her boyfriend being in the house. During the confrontation, Edie gets violent and angry. She shoves Barbara, who's then knocked over the balcony railing, falling to her death. In fact, one small detail that's easy to overlook, but the game tries to make sure that we notice.
Okay, that's an interesting theory. I think it's like, I don't think that she actually caused the, well, I mean, what I think happened was Rick was trying to scare her. The house is not structurally sound. She fell off the balcony to her death. That's what I think happened. I think she still like Edie still definitely holds some culpability in that because she's part of the reason why the house is not structurally sound, but I don't think that she killed her necessarily. But I do think that she was a bad mother and a bad like influence on everybody, and she sensationalized the story. What do you mean? Yeah, I don't bet Rick was like actually intending to murder her though. I don't think that they were like working. I don't think there's like some grand conspiracy. I think it's just oh, that could be. That could be. I would not be surprised because I just don't think that Edie was there physically, and the reason for that being that Sven went to the hospital for having a table saw accident and Edie went with him. So she couldn't have physically pushed Barbara down. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think that Edie would necessarily get into a fight with Barbara over that. I just think that she just maybe implanted the idea of scaring Barbara into Rick's head. Rick went ahead and did that. Barbara fell to her death from the balcony. Rick tried to cover it up.
And Edie gets violent and angry. She shoves Barbara, who's then knocked over the balcony railing.
Yeah, I don't think that she ever like physically caused anybody's death. I think it's all just like due to negligence. That's the core theme of the story is child neglect and how that and like also like fanciful delusional thinking and how that can lead to like reckless behavior and death. True. Yeah.
To her death. In fact, one small detail that's easy to overlook but the game tries to make sure that we notice is the roller skates on the balcony. As we climb the stairs in Barbara's story, a skate rolls down randomly. Later, the other skate is the thing that ultimately sends the hookman plunging over the balcony. That detail feels important. It feels real. That is the instrument of murder here. And if there was any doubt that the monster on the other
so
side of
like so she when Rick scared her, she slipped on the roller skate and that sent her tumbling off the balcony. That makes sense.
door is Edie, Walter also tells us this.
I can't believe I've been down here for 30 years. On that first day, after the shaking started, I didn't think I'd survive a week.
This isn't fear of a curse, that's imminent fear. That is fear of a real, palpable, current threat. Someone determined to silence a person who's seen too much. And we know for a fact that there is indeed some dark secret to find inside the Finch household. Very early on in the game, we get this line.
I was 4 when Milton disappeared. Mom spent months searching for my brother. Then she sealed the doors. Whatever Milton had found in the house, Mom didn't want it getting out.
Milton is the only Finch to go missing, to not have himself a confirmed death. He found something, and then he disappeared. It would seem like his fate is that of Walter's. You learn the truth, you go poof. Speaking of Walter, you know what else is suspicious? His death. Walter waits years to leave his bunker, only for him to immediately get hit by a train. The thing is, there's no train. The game takes place on a very real island. Orca's Island is an actual place in Washington State, and there is a train on that island.
Oh, wait,
Kinda.
is it? I did not realize that there was an island in Washington.
It's a privately owned train by whoever owns the property that it resides on. From what I can tell, it's not so much of a railroad as it is a ride. It is hardly the massive steam locomotive that's implied in Walter's story, and that still doesn't explain why it was going underneath the private residence of the Finch household. Just doesn't add up. Walter never specifically mentions the train either. However, if you look on the other side of the bunker, there is a model train set that Walter was clearly building. Maybe that happened to be the source of inspiration for the story that would ultimately cover up the truth about his death. Because, you see, there's one other thing that you have to know about Great-Grandma Edie. Not only does she love making up stories, she loves the fame that comes from her stories. In her room, we see this newspaper hanging up on the wall.
I'm pretty hype about winning a family day out at Druid World! It's like a lame YouTube giveaway. Like, yo, if you smash that subscribe button and leave a comment down below, I'm gonna give out 3 passes to Druid World!
If you can manage to get over your excitement for Druid World, you can see the article about the Mole Man. We're told by Edith that
Edie gave a big interview about a mole man living under the Finch house. My mom was furious.
a mole man living under the Finch house. That, my friends, is Walter. That is her traumatized son. Edie literally called her son a mole man and sold the story to a seedy newspaper. That is the sort of person that we're dealing with here. In another part of the room, we get this short story.
One summer, they evacuated the island, but Edie refused to go. For a few weeks, she was a celebrity.
She loves the fame, and she is shameless in pursuing it, and nothing shows that more clearly than Barbara. It struck me as odd the first time I played the game that a comic book would publish the story, real or fictionalized, about the tragic death of a very real young woman, and I wasn't the only one. Edith calls this out as she wanders
Yeah, she's a teenager.
through the house.
Of all the stories people wrote about Barbara's death, I'm surprised Edie saved this one.
Right? Your daughter dies, but you keep the comic book that retells her getting eaten to death? I mean, that's pretty sinister, even for someone who jokes about death. And sure, we later get this line.
Edie told me all Barbara wanted was to be remembered.
But again, Edie lies. Edie lies a lot. For the real reason that comic book is there, look no further than Great-Grandma's bedroom. Right next to that Mole Man story in Edie's room, and right under the article where she's made famous for not leaving the house, we see a binder labeled Barbara Concepts. Concepts for what? Well, I think it's concepts for stories. She sold Barbara's story, just like she sold Walter's story as the Mole Man. This whole wall is kind of like her wall of fame, little bits of time that she got to be passively famous. She's either directly or indirectly related to the deaths of those around her, at which point she twists them into something fantastical. If I were to guess, it's her creating fictions that make her less responsible for the deaths. It's also probably part coping mechanism. And lastly, is to make those deaths beautiful, poetic. Blame it all on this legendary family curse that allows her stories to live on. All Barbara wanted to be was remembered, Edie? Yeah, I think you might be just talking about yourself. So far, I've mainly focused on Walter and Barbara,
I think
but
Barbara
Edie
wanted
being a
to be was
monster is
fucking
shown...
alive, bitch. I think all Barbara wanted to be was alive, bitch. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Yes. Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I guess that's possible, but at the same time, I do think that they would not have included the detail about the table saw. I mean, there is like that level of like unreliability. Like maybe Edie like wrote herself out of the story by like being like, oh, like my husband was in the hospital, it couldn't have been me. But I do think that there would be some like proof, some account, like some footage of Edie being at the hospital to rule her out as a suspect, which leads the police to believe that it was Rick. Because otherwise the police wouldn't have like so easily just accepted it. You know what I mean? Yeah, like Rick just like fucking disappeared. Like I don't know where the fuck he is. Yeah, Drew.
less explicitly in
That's
other
the one thing
stories
that I
too.
can't
When
square
leaving his
with is like where the fuck is he? This is the one thing that I cannot square with is like where the fuck is he now? Like they would have caught him by now. Yeah, perhaps.
bunker, Walter says this.
I know it's out there, somewhere. Whatever killed Barbara and Molly and Calvin.
Well, let's look at both Molly and Kelvin then, shall we? Molly is the first Finch child that we meet and the first death that we play through. The story goes that she's sent to bed without dinner, and because she's hungry, she decides to eat things like a tube of toothpaste, some Christmas berries, likely holly berries based on the color, and an old carrot. It's speculated that this combination somehow poisons her, but I looked into the food that she ate and I just don't realistically think that it could have actually killed her. The carrot was in the same bowl as what appears to be gerbil droppings, so she could have gotten salmonella, something that's known to be transferred in rodent droppings, but that wouldn't have killed her. She would have been sick with symptoms like stomach cramps, vomiting, and a fever, but all of that would have passed within a week or so. Holly berries are a similar story. She only eats about 3, and while they certainly can be poisonous, she'd have to have eaten 20 or so to have actually ingested a deadly amount. The toothpaste, same pattern. While toothpaste in 1947 had thankfully stopped using soap as an ingredient, they were just starting to use fluoride, which again can be poisonous in large amounts. But 1 tube of toothpaste is highly unlikely to be fatal. But still, all of this is missing the major point here. Why was Molly hungry in the first place?
I'll be gone soon, but I wanted to tell somebody about what's gonna happen. It started when Mom sent me to bed without dinner.
Edie, her mom, sent her to bed without dinner. We can see that her Halloween candy's gone. My guess is that this detail is showing us why she's being punished. She ate her candy when she wasn't supposed to, and when you try to go out the door, you get this.
Mom, can I come out now?
Sweetheart,
I thought
it's
that was
late.
just like...
Go to sleep.
She's a 10-year-old
Wait, pause. I thought that the Halloween candy was just supposed to be like another clue, like, oh, this is past Halloween. Oh, there's Christmas berries in the door. Oh, the calendar says December. Like that's like supposed to be like a hint as to like what time of year it is, and so you can like put two and two together and be like, oh, those are holly berries. Oh, holly berries are poisonous. I thought that that was the reason for including the detail about the jack-o'-lantern.
candy when
Because
she
if she
wasn't
ate the
supposed
candy,
to.
she would
And
not have been hungry.
when you try to go out the door, you get this.
Mom, can I come out now?
Sweetheart, it's late. Go to sleep.
She's
Yeah.
a 10-year-old girl who is literally locked in her room and starving to death. That is not okay. Intentionally or no, Edie's actions of locking her kid in her room and not feeding her resulted in the child's death in some way. And that's not all. Right next to the Mole Man and Barbara stuff, we have yet another binder of concepts. Molly concepts. Perhaps the story of a girl who goes hungry, but instead of violently starving to death while locked in her room, the whole thing is made magical when her hunger transforms her into a cat, just like we play through in the game. Heck, I wouldn't be surprised if Edie fabricated Molly's journal in the first place. As for Calvin, well, he launches himself off a cliff while playing on a swing. I mean, he didn't build that swing set at the top of a large cliff. That blame absolutely falls on his parents. That's not all. Notice his leg. It's in a cast. It's broken. Now, is that necessarily Edie's fault? I don't know. I can't find any proof one way or the other, but it's made abundantly clear that her kids are afraid of her. And this house is hiding some dark secret that makes people run for their lives, so wouldn't be surprised. At best, Edie is an aggressively neglectful parent. Worse, she's actively attacking her kids, and worst case scenario, she's killing them off when they step out of line, and then covering up the truth with fantastical stories. It's interesting to note that every death in the Finch family has been connected back to Edie in some way. Any family member who lived with her or was close to her has perished. Edie is always there. Edie is there calling to Molly as she starves. She's there calling to Kelvin to come in before he launches himself off a cliff. She's the monster on the other side of Walter's bunker door. Barbara dies in her house, and then Edie goes on to sell the story.
They all die in her house. Like, I don't think that like just like it's her house is enough to like say like, oh, she was direct, like she was definitely indirectly responsible for all of them. Don't get me wrong. She's a fucking horrible parent, but it's just neglect. It's not active murder.
Walter's bunker door. Barbara dies in her house, and then Edie goes on to sell the story.
Yeah, true.
There is no curse here. There is only Edie. She is the curse, and I think she knows it. For all the commentary that's been going on about this game, I've never really seen anyone talk about Edie's final story, which you would think would be the most important one of the batch. It's the story that she tells to Edith the night before Edith and her mom run away. It's actually a story that Edie writes in the form of a book, hidden in the now sealed-off library.
Dear Edith, there's so many stories I wish I could tell you, but there's only time for one. This is about what happened on the night you were born.
It's also the only story in the game that goes unfinished. Basically, the story is about one night when there's a particularly low tide. Edie is able to revisit the ruins of her old house, one that had sunken under the waves decades ago. On the way there, she gets lost.
When the fog rolled in, I lost my way. I got turned around. I started seeing things.
Eventually, she makes it to the house. As she says in her own words,
that night, a lot of things came back to me. Or maybe I came back to them. Things I can't explain, but that I need you to try and...
Edith! What are you doing in here?
She opens the gate, a light turns on in one of the windows, and then the book is ripped away from Edith before she can finish. What is this story all about? What is Edie asking Edith to do? Things I can't explain.
Yeah, she doesn't. She is brown. What do you? Yeah.
But that I need you to try and what? Figure out? Explain? Pass on? What? I think this is meant to be Edie's confession. Her telling the story of her past abuses and past misdeeds in the way that only she can, in the form of a highly symbolic, overly fantastical story full of symbolism. The line that sticks out to me here is, when the fog rolled in, I lost my way, got turned around. But what was all of this? What way did she lose, and what does her coming back to the old house mean? Well, Edie says that this is the story of what happened the night that Edith was born. We know that Edith was born in 1999. At that point, there hadn't been a quote-unquote death in the family since 1983. The next death would be in 2003 when Milton finds whatever secret is inside the Finch household and suddenly disappears. Walter leaves his bunker and immediately dies by quote-unquote train in 2005, and then there's Edith.
The dumbest jump scare.
Edith's brother Louis
Yeah.
in 2010. Could
I guess now we know what Dipper grows up to be. Chicken jockey, chicken jockey, chicken jockey, chicken jockey.
this whole story be symbolic of Edie's journey with her father's ideals? She's heading back to the old house. She's heading back to her origins, back to the teachings of her father. She says that when she gets back to the house, she remembers things, like she'd come back to old friends. The light turning on at the end would be the representation of that enlightenment, but what is she being enlightened to? Is it a return to the importance of family? Is it a return to being a monster? Does she realize that by killing people off, she's once again helping them join the great majority? A lot of this sounds like the actions of an addict. They may know what they're doing is wrong, but their old habits can be like a crutch, the friends that they feel safe around, despite knowing it's bad for them. Maybe that's why Dawn rips the book out of Edith's hands, because she's figured it out and doesn't want Edith reading it to get similar ideas. Edie wrote it to Edith to explain her actions, so Edith might take the lessons and apply them for the future generations of the family. Edie knew she was getting old and couldn't keep going forever. Maybe this was meant to be a passing of the torch. However you slice it, Edie is a monster. I don't think there's any way to deny it. Whether or not she actively killed off members of her family intentionally can't truly be proven, at least not yet, but it seems likely that she's been directly involved with many of the tragedies that befell the family. And then she went on to brand the family and its curse in the local pop culture so that she could be immortal. She was selfish, she was cruel, and she was seemingly violent. And when people learned the truth of the Finch matriarch, they had a habit of disappearing. Walter, Milton, what remains of Edith Finch is a mystery of trauma, all pointing back to the actions of one woman. Remember, this final story is told to you in the library, a place where
Edie told me once that every Finch who ever lived is buried somewhere in the library.
it's a story of all their deaths and why all their deaths relate back to her. Either that or, Edie loved taxidermy. Maybe that last line is a bit more literal than you might think. But hey, that's just a theory. A game!
Yeah, I mean, he has like the core down that like yes, it's like the deaths are Edie's fault, but like yeah, there's like more of like a layer of separation where it's like she's using the idea of a curse as a coping mechanism to avoid taking responsibility or culpability with the child neglect, and then that neglectful attitude gets passed down to future generations. Like there's that aspect of generational trauma when it comes to like the death of Gregory, who was left alone in a bathtub. There's Gus, who was left alone in a storm. There's like Sam in general being kind of reckless by not checking to make sure that the deer was dead. And so like it's just like reckless behavior, bad decisions, and child neglect, like I said. And then like Edie selling the stories to the press to sensationalize them. I don't think that she outright fabricated any of the stories other than the comic book. I don't think that she wrote Molly's story for her. But I do think that like she like maybe like told some fantastical tales like in the years that followed. Like, oh, she really did turn into a cat. That wasn't a hallucination. Yeah, Edie would have believed that. Yes, yes. Stop. Stop pointing it out. I'm embarrassed enough as it is. I swear to God, I'm not doing this on purpose. Shut the fuck up. Wow. I mean, it holds up. It's a really good game. Yeah. Yeah, fuck you, Annapurna. Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Oh, that sucks. That's so shitty. Yeah, true. I mean, there's Ethan Carter, but that's a different team, I think. God damn it. You already watched that movie, though. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we should end the stream. Bye bye. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Bye bye, everyone. Oyasumana. Come to my debut October 30th. Thank you for buying a legit copy of What Remains of Edith Finch. Winners don't do alcohol and medication. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the state of the company is currently. Yeah, true, but I think that's the point. Like the story being ripped from her. True. True.